NRATV with Grant Stinchfield.
Well, hi there, folks. Welcome to the program. The hypocrisy surrounding the charade of a protest called the Women's March on the NRA is growing. The leaders of this anti-gun, anti-American, anti-freedom protest, which insist the NRA is racist, sexist, and violent, prove they are the ones who fit that description much better than any NRA member. Just listen to this pastor talk about our own Dana Loesch. It doesn't get any more sexist than this.
You're a woman too. Don't let the NRA use you, Dana, as a pretty face to sell guns to men.
So, apparently because Dana is a pretty woman, according to that man, she can't also have a brain. She's not only the national spokesperson for the NRA because she's pretty, that's not the reason. She has that job because she's smart. And she has a grasp of the Second Amendment and the issues surrounding the Second Amendment like no other person I know. Yet this is a rally that claims sexism is at the heart of the NRA. And they make some of the most offensive statements they can about women, not to mention, as much as they hate guns, they paid armed security to protect the leaders of this march. Another hypocritical, elitist move from left-wing leaders. Just answer us, Tamika Mallory, who paid for those guns? Well, I want to turn now to Dana Loesch. Dana, it is great to have you on the program, as always, and I mean it when I tell you your grasp of Second Amendment issues is like no other, but apparently you only have a pretty face in the eyes of those leaders of that movement.
Oh, Grant, it's so good to be with you this morning. I didn't particularly take to being progressively mansplained by this Women's March speaker. And a news flash to the sexist. You know, women can vote too. We had the right to bear arms before we had the right to vote, and you can come and take that out of my cold dead hand. But this guy speaking at this protest, first of all, he embodies everything that anyone ever needs to know about the gun control movement. It is the ultimate war on women. It is the ultimate in class warfare and sexism. And a news flash to this progressive mansplaining pastor, I am the NRA, as are millions of women who are members of the NRA. They are all the NRA as well. It is a body, a membership. That is who we are. And it is asinine to me to think that this is only a man's issue, that firearms are only for men, because I dare say that they provide more of an ultimate equalizer for women than they do men. I enjoy shooting. I enjoy hunting. I enjoy going to the range. It's cathartic. It's relaxing. It's like knitting, but with lead. I love it. And so for this guy to just assume that, well, I'm just being used by a group of men, he must not know about me.
You know, Dana, it's not only him, though, because Linda Sarsour, she promotes Sharia law, which is about the most repressive view of Islam and repressive for women, certainly.
That's sexism.
It absolutely is. And so she's at the heart of this so-called Women's March.
Absolutely, and I think that's smart to point that out, Grant, because Sharia, Islamic jurisprudence, does not recognize a woman's right in a court of law. Women have no rights in family court. Women have even fewer rights where it concerns property. I mean, how far do we want to go down this road? In countries where Sharia is implemented, women can't even drive. Of course, Linda Sarsour thinks that this is okay because they get 10 weeks of paid maternity leave. You don't have the right of free travel because you have a vagina, but the progressive, the patriarchal government's going to just pay you to shut up for 10 weeks for maternity care. That's not a good trade-off. I want my freedom. That is the ultimate in sexism. And I'm not going to be lectured to by a bunch of sexists or sexist enablers. I'm not.
All right, so I'm going to keep going down the list here. They had a rabbi speak, a female rabbi, at the rally on Friday outside of NRA headquarters. Does that rabbi understand that Tamika Mallory's mentor is Louis Farrakhan, a man who, quite frankly, hates Jewish people?
And people who apparently speak out about it. I've had some fun Nation of Islam members who have been trying to mansplain to me on social media. This is one woman who doesn't kowtow to that paternalistic line of beliefs that they have. But no, that's absolutely right. I mean, first off, this Louis Farrakhan is a raging anti-Semitic religious terrorist. His views are not in line with modern-day America. His views are not in line with Western culture. Women are free to buy and own guns, and we enjoy going out and shooting and hunting and participating in the shooting sports and everything else. And they can sit here and they can get all these men, Grant, to come and scream at us 6 ways to Sunday, but that ain't going to change a damn thing. I'm just going to go out and buy another gun and get more ammo for my Liberty stash, as well as are the millions of other women who comprise the NRA membership. So that doesn't change nothing. It doesn't change anything. But no, there are so many, there's just, I don't understand what these people believe, because the very things, Grant, that they claim that they're marching against are the very beliefs that they enable through their mentors and through their associations. They work with groups like Moms Demand, whose founder thinks that all minority males should be disarmed. I have the audio of that on my website at DanaRadio.com. And in fact, it was Cam Edwards who so smartly pointed out that he fought the Aspen Institute back in January 2015 when he spoke and said, well, we just should throw these young black men up against the wall and frisk them. That was Moms Demand in Everytown saying that. That wasn't the NRA saying that. So all of these things that Black Lives Matter and that gun control groups and that women's march organizers, all of the things, Grant, that they say they believe and that they are marching against, they actually enable with their associations, and they excuse it when it comes from the people on their side who are actually pushing these issues.
Yeah, well, they show up at the NRA with no gun signs and the likes of that, and then the leaders find the need to hire armed security, and I'm all for armed security. It's well within their rights to hire them. I'm glad they had them there. I'm sure they made everybody safer.
I'm not. I'm not.
You're not what?
First off, the reason that they have that armed security is because the NRA fought for civilians to be able to have such rights. So they're actually enjoying the rights that an organization they claim to hate fought for and secured for them. But furthermore, if they don't want other people to have guns to protect themselves, I don't think that you should be able to hire armed security. If you are going, because that's cowardly, you're going to outsource your gun to someone else, what? Because you're not empowered enough of a woman to carry it. You're not empowered enough of a man to carry it, so you have to engage in class warfare and pay someone to carry your gun because you think that their life is more expendable than your own. Those people are cowards and they are hypocrites. If you don't believe that other people should be able to carry guns to save their lives, then by God, don't you go out and hire private security.
Well,
look,
Dana,
I can't hire private security like that. A lot of our members can't either. Most, in fact, Americans can't hire private security like that, Grant. So we become empowered to take care of our own security and our own safety. This is class warfare. These are wealthy, mansplaining, sexist progressives who are anti-gun, who believe that because they can afford private security, that is what separates them from everyone else. No, no, no. You can't have private security because you can't afford it, and you can't have guns, but I'm going to pay for someone else to carry mine.
The only reason why I take a slightly different take on this than you is because it proves that they actually do acknowledge that there is a need for firearms, and they understand full well that firearms serve a purpose to protect individual security.
Oh, yes, they do.
And by them having that armed security there, they readily admitted it.
No, absolutely they did, and they're enjoying the fruits of the NRA's labor. How does that taste, guys?
They certainly are. The other thing the NRA fights for is free speech, and they were certainly enjoying that too on Friday or Saturday, even though it amounted to
except they don't want us to have it. They don't want us to have it, Grant. They've called for us to take down that ad. I'll say this so clearly for people who read with pictures, they'll even be able to understand this. That ad, which is fabulous, is staying up. That ad, which is beautiful and is full of truth and honesty and just, it is as American as Eagles and apple pie and baseball, Grant, that ad's staying up because that ad is truth. And that ad is going after violent rioters. And those people who are trying to conflate that with peaceful protests, stop. You're killing my soul. Stop it.
All right, so you set me up, Dana, because coming up at the top of the next hour, we've got another ad coming out, and I specifically call out the Washington Post for their hypocrisy, and we go after the real truth. And so that ad will be staying up as well, and I'm sure the Washington Post will
Wait a minute, Grant, I got to ask you, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I have to ask you, are you just another pretty face that is, trying to sell guns to men?
You know, I was upset that I wasn't mentioned as the pretty face trying to sell guns to women. Dana Loesch, as always, thank you so much.
Good to see you, Grant.
Good to see you, too. All right, we will have Bill Whittle at the top of the next hour. And don't forget, I will release my message to the Washington Post, a message the Washington Post needs to hear. So do all of you. That at the top of the next hour. For now, I'm Grant Stinchfield for NRATV. Stick with us.
You're watching NRATV with Grant Stinchfield.